This is Mepo and the Mountain. Long ago, when the mountains were already ancient and the roads were but narrow paths winding through the hills, Mepo journeyed alone along a steep trail that climbed high among the rocks. He carried upon his back a small pack, and in his hand a stout walking stick, and in his heart the quiet curiosity that so often led him to strange places and stranger adventures. As he came around a bend in the path, a sharp ringing sound echoed from the mountainside. Clink, clink, clink. Mepo followed the sound until he came upon a man striking a great slab of rock with a heavy hammer. The man was a stonecutter. His back was bent with labor, his hands were hard and rough, and sweat ran down his face as he worked beneath the blazing sun. Clink! A chip of stone broke loose and rolled down the slope. Mepo stood watching him for some time. The work seemed hard indeed, yet there was a certain satisfaction in the steady rhythm of the hammer. At length, Mepo spoke. "What work is this that you do?" The stonecutter paused and rested upon his hammer. "I cut stone from the mountain," he said. "With it, men build houses and walls and many other grand things." Mepo looked at the neat blocks of stone stacked beside him. "It seems honest work," said Mepo thoughtfully. The stonecutter gave a short laugh. "Honest enough," he replied, "but far from easy." Mepo smiled. "I have been walking for many days. If you will teach me this craft, I will gladly stay and help you with the work." The stonecutter studied him for a moment, then shrugged. "If you are willing to labor, you may become my apprentice." And so Mepo remained upon the mountain. Day by day, he learned to lift the hammer and shape the stone. Yet the work was heavy, and the sun burned fiercely overhead. One afternoon, as Mepo wiped the sweat from his brow, he happened to look down into the valley below. There stood a grand house, bright with banners and shining windows. Within sat a wealthy man resting comfortably in the shade, while servants brought him cool drinks and rich food. Mepo sighed. "That man lives far more pleasantly than I do," he murmured. "If only I were rich like him, then surely I would be incredibly happy." At that moment, a deep voice rolled across the mountain air. "Your wish is heard." The wind stirred, the world seemed to tremble, and in the blink of an eye, Mepo found himself seated within a splendid house filled with gold, silk, and fine treasures. As servants hurried to attend him, Mepo laughed with delight. "Ha! So this is what it is to be rich!" And for a time, he was well content. Until one day, he looked from his window and saw the king of the land passing through the city. The king rode in a magnificent carriage, while soldiers marched beside him, and the people bowed low as he passed. Mepo frowned. "Everyone bows before the king," he thought out loud. "Surely he must be far more powerful than I. If only I were the king, then I would truly be happy." Again, the divine voice sounded. "Your wish is heard." In an instant, Mepo found himself seated upon a royal carriage, a golden crown on his head. Crowds cheered as he passed through the streets. "Yes," said Mepo proudly. "Now I am the most powerful of all." But as he travelled across the land, the blazing sun shone fiercely overhead. The heat grew terrible. Even the king's soldiers staggered beneath its burning rays. Mepo scowled. "This sun commands even the king. If the sun can scorch the whole world, then surely it is the most powerful thing of all. I wish to be the sun." "Your wish is heard," boomed the omnipotent voice. And suddenly, Mepo blazed high in the heavens. He shone over forests, rivers, and mountains. "Now I am truly powerful," he declared. Yet before long, a thick grey cloud drifted across the sky and covered his light. Mepo strained to shine through it, but the cloud blocked him easily. "This cloud is stronger than I am," he grumbled. "If it can hide the sun itself, then it must be the most powerful thing in the world. I wish to be the cloud." "Your wish is heard," echoed the ever-present, everlasting voice. Now Mepo floated across the sky as a great cloud. Rain poured down from him upon valleys and rivers. "Witness how mighty I am," he thundered. But soon the wind began to blow. Stronger and stronger it grew, until it drove the cloud across the sky like a wandering sheep. Mepo struggled to remain in place. The wind carried him wherever it pleased. "The wind is stronger than I am," he cried. "If it can move the clouds themselves, then it must be the most powerful thing in the world. I wish to be the wind." "Your wish is heard," acquiesced the celestial voice. Now Mepo swooshed across the earth as the roaring wind. He bent the trees and drove the waves across distant seas. "I am unstoppable," he howled. But when he hurled himself against a great mountain, something strange happened. He blew mighty gusts, pushing with all his might, yet the mountain did not move. Again he pushed. Still the mountain stood firm and silent. "That mountain is stronger than I am," cried Mepo. "If the wind cannot move it, then surely it must be the most powerful thing in the world. I wish to be the mountain." "Your wish is heard," granted the eternal voice. At once, Mepo became a mighty mountain, rising high among the clouds. "Now nothing can challenge me," he said. The seasons passed. Rain fell, snow gathered, rivers flowed. The mountain stood unmoving through it all. Then, one quiet morning, there came a small sound upon the mountainside. Clink, 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 clink. Mepo looked down. There, at the foot of the mountain, stood the very same old stonecutter who had once taught him the craft. The man lifted his hammer and struck the rock again. Clink. A chip of stone broke free. The mountain felt the blow. Again the hammer fell. Clink. Another fragment of stone rolled away. Mepo stared in wonder. "That stonecutter," he whispered. "He is cutting into me." Patiently and steadily, the old man continued his work. And then Mepo understood. The Stonecutter is stronger than even the mountain. For a long time he was silent. At last he spoke softly. I wish to be myself again. The voice returned once more. Your wish is heard, chimed the omniscient voice. The mountain faded, the wind grew still, the clouds drifted away. And once again, Mepo stood upon the mountain path with his pack upon his back and his walking stick in his hand. Nearby, the old Stonecutter was still at work. Clink, clink, clink. Mepo watched him for a moment and smiled quietly. I thought becoming the mountain would make me the greatest of all, he said. Yet even that was only another wish to be someone else. The Stonecutter merely continued his work. Clink, clink. Mepo adjusted his pack and turned once more toward the winding road. There is still much for me to learn, he said to himself. And so he set off again along the long path. For sometimes the greatest adventure in all the world is simply discovering and loving who you truly are.